How are you going to react when trouble is staring you in the face? How are you going to react when a serious situation has just come into your reality? Are you going to stand 10 toes down and stick with your affirmation or stick with your visualization? Or are you going to return to the old self? A major point, in my opinion, that is missed with these manifestation techniques is most people, we are so busy doing our techniques, whatever they may be. We're so busy doing those to get something that we don't realize we need to actually be doing these techniques to build up the muscle to be able to know what we are going to utilize as far as techniques are concerned when a problem shows up in our life and we have to deal with that problem. Doing techniques is not just about getting something, which is what most of us practice these techniques for. Doing techniques is also to help you deal with situations when they come knocking on your door. And what I'm getting ready to explain to you, this story is wild. This is a personal manifestation story that has happened to me recently, and it has to do with something that happened a few years back during COVID. So, back during COVID, when COVID happened, I had signed up to get pandemic relief help. So, I was getting a check every week for whatever the amount was back then. I remember there was a point where I had missed a payment or two and they didn't pay me. I don't remember exactly the details of what happened or why I didn't receive the check for one of the weeks or towards the end, but I did not receive it. So at that time, I had called the Department of Labor multiple times and left multiple messages telling them to return my call to find out why I did not receive the missed payments that I had missed. Long story short, they never called me back. I never got an answer. Mind you, this is during 2021. Now, fast forward, we're in the year 2025 now. I get a phone call back in January 13th to be exact. A woman called and left a voicemail on my phone because I missed the phone call. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you guys listen to the voicemail yourself.
Hi, Mr. Daniels. This is Nancy from the Department of Labor. I was giving you a call in regards to your PUA claim dated 2/24/2021. If you could, just give me a call back at and ask for me. Again, my name is. Thank you.
Okay, you guys just heard the voicemail. Now, fast forward 3 days later, on January 16th, 2025, I now receive an email from this person. And the email reads like this: Good afternoon. My name is blank. I have been assigned to the claim you filed with the Department of Labor, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. I tried contacting you on the phone number in your file, but was unable to reach you. I need you to verify your identity through the link provided below. Blank Department of Labor. And you guys see all the links right there in the middle. And then it goes on to read, this needs to be completed in 5 days, no later than 1/23/25. If you have not verified your identity by said time, I will make a decision based on the information I have available. And then obviously you see the office hours and all that type of stuff. Now, with the way that I think, immediately off the top of my head, I'm thinking, why are you guys contacting me 4 years later after the fact? And immediately my mind kind of goes to, is this a scam? I don't know if I can trust this because this is so random 4 years later. And the way the email looked, it didn't look like it was a legit email. And I had never heard of ID Me. I had never heard of none of that stuff. So I'm like, what link am I getting ready to click on? Who is this really asking for my information? Because also, too, when the person that called me and left the voicemail, I called Department of Labor back and I asked, I said, yeah, such and such called me. She said to call back and to get in touch with her. And whoever I spoke to on the phone, they were like, I'm not sure who that is. I don't know who that is. And so I'm thinking, okay, if you don't know who this is, then this doesn't sound legit because to some degree, you should definitely know who called or be able to search and see who made a phone call at what time or put me back in touch with that person or maybe know who the person is that called me and all of that type of stuff. And so the fact that this person didn't know who called me or really didn't help me at all, really, in a sense, that kind of raised a red flag for me as well. On top of the fact the email looked very suspect to me and people's information gets compromised all the time. It's so easy to scam people nowadays because scamming people and the way they make emails look and certain things like that is so easy. That happened to a family member of mine. They got scammed out of money of Wells Fargo because one of those spam emails got sent to them and said, "Oh, such and such money was taken out of your account." And then they got hacked and then they went in and they called the number that was on the scam email and then they ended up getting some money taken from their bank account because they thought it was a legit email. And also, I'm sure some of you out there get those text messages from people just saying hello or hi, we're hiring at da 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 da. We think you would be a great fit. Just random text messages from people. So many people's information is compromised and scamming is rampant nowadays. So all of this happening, I'm thinking to myself, why would anybody from government contact me 4 years later about this matter? 4 years later. That's unprofessional, number one. They should have got back to me back in 2021 when I originally contacted them about the claim. And so it nothing made sense to me. I'm thinking this is a big scam. And I said to myself, I'm not clicking on nothing. I'm not filling out no ID me. I'm not doing this within 5 days of what they're saying. So I left it alone. I didn't do anything. I didn't take any action. So fast forward, I get a letter in the mail. I'm not sure if I can find it or not. If I can find it, I will attach it to this video so you can read what the letter says. But fast forward in the mail, I get a letter saying that my request was denied and I'm not eligible for the claim that I had filed back during 2021. When I had got the letter in the mail, that's when I said to myself, okay, this is 100% legit because people can scam your email and that type of stuff, but people really aren't necessarily sending stuff to your house. And so when I got the letter in the mail and I opened it up and I started reading everything and I was looking at the company, the date and all that type of stuff and the information and the details, I said, okay, this isn't a scam. This is real. These people really are trying to contact me. So when I found out and verified, it said that I had been denied, but it said that I could appeal. So when I saw that it said I could appeal, I said, okay, I see what's going on. I said, yeah, I'm appealing this. So what I did was I was able to send an email to appeal. And this is what my appeal email sounded like. Hello, I'm emailing to appeal my claim. I was supposed to verify through ID me, but missed the deadline. However, I blanked all of that out because that was personal stuff that I had described to them. And then I go onto the bottom and you see I say, furthermore, the amount of time I was given to complete ID me pales in comparison to the 3+ years it has taken your department to get back to me in regards to my original claim in 2021. I find it unacceptable that it has taken 3+ years to get back to me on an issue from 2021, and I was only given 5 days to respond to ID me. I look forward to hearing back. Thank you. So then they sent me back this email that you can pause and read at your own leisure. Are you guys still following me? I know this might be a lot. So I finally got the letter in the mail that told me the date of my hearing and my appeal process. And the date was March 5th, 2025, and it was scheduled for 1:30. This is not even 2 weeks ago from me recording this video. I had no idea who I was getting on the phone with. I had really no idea what this process was going to be like. So when 1:30 came around on March 5th, I picked up the phone and I called the number that was on the paper I got. You're supposed to leave a voicemail and then the people, they call you back within however many minutes. So I got a call back. She said her name and she said all of this other technical stuff with big words, I guess judge stuff or whatever you want to call it, lawyer stuff, whatever you want to call it. There was also another woman on the line. So right off the bat, I had no idea that I was going to be on the phone with two people. At one point, she was basically calling out, I guess, my rights or whatever. She said, raise your right hand. And I had to basically swear, take an oath or whatever. At that moment, that's when I was like, this is a legit case or it's like a lawsuit type of proceeding. And at this point, nothing is still registering with me. I'm still thinking to myself, yo, what in the world is going on? I'm thinking I'm just talking to the Department of Labor, just trying to get my claim figured out and all that type of stuff. But at this point, I'm on the phone with a legit judge, it sounds like, and an attorney who was representing another party. I'm starting to think, is this a case? Is this a lawsuit? Because it sounded like some sort of case or a lawsuit. So whoever this referee was or this judge person was, they said what they had to say. Then whoever the other woman on the phone was that I guess was representing whoever they were representing, they said what they had to say. And then I obviously got a chance to say what I had to say. So when the other lady on the phone was speaking, not the referee, but the other lady that was on the phone, that's when I found out what was really going on, which was there was something like 10,000 plus cases that were being opened and investigated back from during COVID, and mine was one of them. Turns out the money that they gave me during COVID was not supposed to be for people who are self-employed, but I guess for people who had an employer. They said it was a mistake. They gave it to me anyway. That's not my problem. That's how I looked at the situation. So I found out they were trying to get me to pay back all 26 payments that they paid me during COVID, which the total came out to be over $10,000. And when I found that out on the phone, as she said that, I literally said out loud over the phone, I said, wow. I said, wow, this is insane. I mean, no notice, no nothing. I had no idea this lawsuit was even opened. I never got nothing in the mail talking about this lawsuit. I had no idea why I had to go through this appeal process or do this whole referee thing with the judge. Like, I had no idea. I'm thinking, like I said earlier, I'm just going to talk to somebody from the Department of Labor and we're going to get this thing figured out maybe. And then here I find out I'm actually on a legit hearing with a judge or a referee and somebody representing the other side, and this is a legit lawsuit, and they're trying to make me pay back over $10,000. So I said to the referee or judge on the phone and the other lady, I said, listen, I'm not trying to waste nobody's time. I said, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. I said, I don't even care about the funds from 2021 anymore. That was 4 years ago. I said, I don't even care about the funds. I said, I want to know why it took you guys 4 years to get back to me and how unprofessional that is. I never heard of a company taking 3-4 years to get back to somebody. I said, I never heard of that before. I said, you tell me if you heard something like that before. I said, that's extremely unacceptable to me. I said, and the fact that you only gave me 5 days to respond when this looked like a scam. I said, but yeah, it took y'all 4 years to get back to me. I said, you tell me if that makes sense. I said to everybody on the phone, it's unfortunate, but it sounds like I'm in the process of being able to be another casualty of war. But I know how this goes. This is the system that we're in. The phone call lasted about 20 minutes or so. The judge or referee, whatever, said her closing remarks. Whoever else said their closing remarks asked if I had questions for the other party. And then the other party, if they had questions for me, they could ask or whatever the case might be. That was that. The referee or the judge told me that they would be in touch with me in about a month to let me know the final decision. My appeal has been successful and everything has been reversed. As soon as I got off the phone with the judge, I said out loud, I'm not paying shit. I said it with 100% conviction and I meant it. And I never worried about these payments, paying this money back at all. I just continued to do my daily routine, my daily habit, whatever, not worrying about this, knowing, yo, Marv, you not paying shit. Fuck that. Fast forward only, 2 days later, because I had that call on Wednesday, March 5th, March 7th, I got a letter in the mail. Now I'm thinking I'm not going to hear from these people until April sometime. I literally got a letter in the mail Friday saying this. So here's the first page that I received in the mail on Friday with the results. You can see it says claimed deputy's determination is that the claimant is ineligible for unemployment benefits since she or he has not made a claim in accordance with the prescribed regulations. On the second to last page, though, is where Jesus Christ came through. Decision. The determination of the claims deputy is reversed. The tribunal finds the claimant complied with the statutory requirements to the best of his abilities. He was eligible for the receipts of PUA unemployment benefits effective with or for the week ending February 27th, 2021. Mic drop. I told y'all I wasn't paying shit, and I 1000% meant it. The entire time I had no fear, no anxiety, nothing. I'm sharing this story with you guys not to brag, but to show you this is when all of the techniques and all of the work that you're doing right now, this is when it comes into play. It comes into play when the unexpected shows up in your life out of nowhere. You got to deal with some shit that looks very serious for the near future. Like I told you to start this video, so many people use these techniques because they're trying to get something. But what happens when you need to use these techniques to get out of something? That's the one thing that I noticed in this community that people really don't talk about is they don't talk about how to get out of stuff. They don't talk about how do you get out of an SP relationship? How do you get out of a troubling situation like having to pay back over $10,000 or whatever the amount is? How do you get out of having to go to work or do this or do that? How do you use these LOA concepts to get out of something? Because everybody is so busy using these LOA concepts to try to get stuff. I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to get a career. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get an SP. But what about when these situations pop up in your life and you need to use these laws, these techniques to save yourself? Like Rick Ross said,
you got to learn to use your mind to help keep you out of certain situations.
A lot of people really don't know how to use their mind to keep them out of certain situations. The funny thing is, I do this shit all the time, whether it's me getting invited somewhere, me being told, oh, I gotta go somewhere. All of a sudden, last minute, or maybe not even last minute, it might be a day before, I'm always find out, yo, Marv, you didn't gotta go now. Oh, we're no longer doing X, Y, and Z like we said we were gonna do. This shit happens all the time. So much shit that I don't want to do that I end up not having to do. But also when people come up against these big mountains, like having to pay back $10,000, over $10,000, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever the amount is, people fold under that kind of pressure, that kind of anxiety. It's similar to Neville. Neville used his mind to help get him out of the army. And all these great stories you hear from Neville Goddard, it's no different. This is something that I think is lost, and I think you really got to focus on. This is where all of the work and all of the foundational work that you've done, building your foundation on stone and brick, concrete, marble, all of that type of stuff, building your foundation on that and not building your foundation on stick and sand. Because when you build and the foundational work and you do it the right way, when these gigantic mountains come before you, you're not afraid. And the more foundational work you start to use and you do, and you start to get that brain heart coherence, because when you have that brain heart coherence, then when you say to the mountain, move, that mountain must move.
Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way.
See, the problem that I noticed in the LOA community in particular is they want quick fixes. They think, oh, I don't have to do foundational work. I don't have to really work on my self-concept. All I got to do is affirm. All I got to do is this. And then when these situations show up, when these gigantic mountains show up, when your SP starts acting crazy, or you get a surprise bill, or you find out you have an unexpected car repair or something like that, just these giant mountains that come up out of nowhere, you fold like a cheap tent. Why? Because you don't use these tools and principles to get you out of situations. You're always so focused on trying to get something. You got to think about how many people in this world that are not utilizing this power right now that actually know about LOA. How many people in the world are thinking, oh man, I got to pay this. Oh man, I got to do that. Oh man, this is coming up. Whatever the case might be. And you're panicking and you're living in the 3D and you're not living in your mind as you're supposed to with these teachings and techniques, and you're not walking in that conviction, and you're not speaking in that conviction. Instead, you're walking around living in anxiety, not realizing and understanding that you are Jesus Christ. But I get it, which is why I constantly tell people this stuff is way easier said than done. It's one thing to say an affirmation or do a visualization when things aren't dire, right? But it's another thing when you are literally in the middle of a storm or you see the storm coming. Like in my situation, I wasn't in the middle of the storm, but the storm was right at my door getting ready to say, yo, Marv, you owe us over $10,000. It was right there. So what are you going to do when you're in the storm, or when the storm, you know the storm is coming? How are you going to be able to combat that? You going to combat it via 3D, or are you going to combat it via the way you've been taught how to combat it? I truly do hope this video resonated with a lot of people, and to help a lot of you realize and understand that there is another side to the law of assumption, law of attraction, that you need to use it for. And it's not simply just to get something, but it's to get you out of stuff when the time is necessary. Whatever mountain you may be facing right now, always remember, you beat it with this, you beat it with this, and you beat it with this. And to understand and know and to be prepared for when this stuff comes up in your experience. Because one of the big misconceptions about LOA that a lot of people have is they think the more that you do this stuff or whatever, they think, oh, you're absolved from anything bad happening in your life. Oh, I know about LOA now. My life is going to be perfect. Nothing bad is going to happen. These mountains are never going to show up. That's complete and utter bullshit. Life is so unpredictable for everybody. I don't care how much you are into these LOA principles. I don't care how much control you think you have over your life. Notice I said you think, because a lot of people think they have more control than they actually do. Because again, life is so unpredictable. We can control our lives to a certain extent. You know, a lot of LOA coaches aren't going to tell you that type of stuff because they're just trying to sell you a dream. But I'm going to tell you the real shit, as I always have on this channel. Most of you guys got to understand that when these things, they are going to show up at times. They might not show up as much as it does for other people, but when they do, you got to be prepared and utilize all of the tools, whatever you have in your arsenal, to be able to combat these things, to help get you out of whatever these situations that you are going through or will potentially go through. Because there may be times potentially, as Florence Scofield Shin says, where it is darkest before dawn, where all of these things are going wrong and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to get out of it. But you have the tools. The thing is you're just not utilizing it because you're so caught up in the 3D world, and the 3D just seems and feels so real to you, which is understandable. But you have to know that you have a power that's greater than the 3D world. I've overcome the world. That's in the Bible, right? I've overcome the world. Why are you afraid? Jesus Christ. You are Jesus Christ. So the next mountain you come in contact with, look that motherfucker dead in the eye and tell it, I am Jesus Christ. Now move.